Some people who parade themselves as doctors, they don't deserve to be doctors at all, because most of them are not into the profession because they love it or because it's their passion or anything. Most of them are just there because they just want to make a name as doctors, or maybe family wants them to be doctors and all that. I'm just speaking from my experience anyway. Some that I've met are not just doing it with passion. Yeah. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia and I want to thank all my amazing subscribers, people watching, commenting. Oh, you guys are just so wonderful. You don't know what you're doing for this channel of ours. And also, if you're coming across my video for the first time, thank you for choosing to watch. And also, please subscribe and be part of us. Okay. So guys, I just started sharing a story about my infertility journey, and I already shared a story about the beginning of the journey, and today I'll be sharing with you experience I had with a doctor that nearly cost me my pregnancy, and how everything went. When I and my husband found out we were pregnant in the year 2021, we were happy because it took us a while. We were so happy. We shared the news with our family, just our close family, that's all. And everybody was happy. Everything was going well, not until the 10th week. Okay? 10th week, yeah. So on that 10th week, that should be Thursday morning, we woke up from sleep, and being pregnant for the first time, I was so careful. I was conscious. Even when I want to stand up from my bed, I feel like something is dropping off. I have to take it easy. So that morning, I and my husband woke up. My husband dressed up and went out to work. So there's this room of ours I love going into because that room is free from perfumes and all that. I don't like those smells at that moment. I went into that room and I was going through my books, my records, and all that. After like 10 minutes, this thing was happening around 9 a.m. in the morning. After like 10 minutes, while I was sitting on the bed, I felt like a very quick rush out of my body. I said, wow, what's this? It felt like a shock, but came out with full force. I said, what's this? So I stood up. The moment I stood up, I looked. It was blood. Blood was gushing out. I said, Jesus, what is this? So I started crying. I picked up my phone, called my husband, told him, and he said, okay, he's on his way coming back. So before he could come back, I stood up from that bed and was walking towards the sitting room. The blood was dropping with force. So, and I was weeping, you understand? I was crying, and immediately I got to a point, the main blood, like, it came out with a vibration, like, bah, on the floor. I heard the sound, bah, on the floor, and I looked. It was very, it was humanly. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was very, it was, how do I say this thing? I don't know how to describe it, but something solid. It was solid. Like when it felt like a heap of blood. Yeah, let me say a heap of blood. Something just fell. So I called my mom, told my mom, oh, I've lost the baby, because that is my assumption. I've lost the baby and all that. I took my phone, I snapped it, I sent it to my sister to show my mom, and I sent it to some other person. So and that person was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So while this thing was going on, I was waiting for my husband. So he came in, the blood was still coming out. He put me into the car and we drove off to the hospital. I was still on my nightwear. When we got to the hospital, they took us to emergency. While we were there, my husband went to get pad and all that, and helped me to clean up. A doctor walked in. They went to tell a doctor. The doctor walked in. So when I showed the doctor the picture and all that, the doctor said, oh, we're going to go into evacuation. We're going to do evacuation. We're going to do evacuation right now. My husband was like, evacuation for what? I was weeping. I was crying. I said, oh, God. I've lost the child. My husband was like, evacuation for what? What are we evacuating? The doctor didn't check anything. The doctor didn't ask me any question. We just showed him the photo. He didn't ask me whether I had any pain or anything of that nature. He just said we're going to do evacuation. And I was like, why? My husband was like, why? For what? You've not asked anything. And he said, yeah, so that this thing he saw in the picture, it means we've lost the child and all that. So it doesn't make sense to leave the remains in there. My husband said, okay, you should hold on. So my husband went to call his doctor friend, explained the situation to him. The guy said no, that we shouldn't go into that evacuation for now, that we should run a scan first, that if we run a scan and there is no trace of heartbeat, then we can do that. My husband came back and told the doctor that we want to do a scan. The doctor said, okay, it doesn't make sense, but let's go. My husband asked him, but why didn't you suggest we do a scan first before saying we should come in and do evacuation? Why? Okay, he said that my husband is teaching him his profession. My husband shouldn't teach him what to do. My husband said, okay, no problem. Since it's your profession, I want you to recommend my wife for a scan. Okay, we went in for a scan. So while we were going through the scan, what do they call these people that do scan? I don't know, I've forgotten. But the lady in charge showed us the heartbeat, played it for us. Everything was normal. Baby was normal. Everything was just okay. She printed out the results, gave it to us, and transferred us to the doctor's office. And my husband was asking the doctor, so assuming I didn't make a call to my friend and he requests I will go for scan, this is how you would have just made me lose my child. The doctor was like, in such is a rare situation. We have not seen this kind of thing before. Once there is this and that, the best thing we do is to evacuate to avoid maybe the baby might not be in good condition, blah 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 blah. My husband told the hospital that we don't need this doctor anymore, that they should transfer us to a doctor that have sense, because this one is senseless. That day my husband nearly punched that doctor, but it was just the grace of God. So when we were transferred to another doctor, the doctor just recommended that I go home, I rest for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, I can come back. After 2 weeks, I can come back for a scan to make sure everything is fine. So after that event, nobody gave us any explanation to why that happened. The doctors didn't tell us what happened. The doctors didn't tell us what led to that. The doctors didn't tell us what to do to avoid that from happening. After that, we left the hospital, went home, and my husband was so caring. He tried his best to make sure I got the rest I needed at that time. And after 2 weeks, at least I stayed at home. We stayed at home together for 2 weeks. He was literally doing everything in the house, and I was getting the rest. He had to transfer the mattress from our bedroom to our living room so that we can have enough space. I can have enough space to do what I want to do. The only thing I was doing at that time is to have my bath. Even at some point, he would just assist me because we were so scared of bending, moving, and all that. So I stayed the 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, I went to another hospital and did my scan, and everything was fine. Baby was fine, everything was good. And I came back and continued my pregnancy journey till the day of delivery, where the worst happened. Where the worst, will I say the worst? Will I say the worst? You'll find out in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye now.